Before you came, it was testing.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's good to see you. Yeah, I know it's been like a long time since my last video. Oops, my bad, I apologize, but I was struggling. I was fighting for my life first semester of nursing school. It's a miracle that I'm here today to tell my story, to be honest. Whew, like, it was interesting, okay? But that's what this video is about. I'm just gonna be talking about how my first semester was personally, my experience, my, like, I don't know, do's and don'ts, like how it was for anyone who's gonna be starting nursing or who's just curious on how I did my first semester. First semester of my first year, so like straight out of high school, and I'm here. We're just gonna get into the video. So my overall rating of my first semester of nursing school, I'm low-key gonna give it maybe like a 7 out of 10, give or take, like a little less, a little more, depending on what exactly we're talking about. I think it's obviously the program is different for everyone. I'm not gonna go too into detail about my program, but I'm gonna tell you aspects of it and how I liked it, how it worked, how I didn't like it, stuff like that. So first, let's start with my classes. I had, I think, 5 classes first semester, and some of them had labs, so I guess you could say 6. I think only one of them had a lab, but so 6. My favorite class of first semester, for me personally, I don't think a lot of people will agree with this, but I definitely think it was anatomy and physiology. It's a class that I enjoyed learning about the most, and it wasn't necessarily easy. Like, it wasn't, like, believe me, like, I was struggling, like, gasping for air at some points, but I got through it, and it definitely was my favorite lecture class for sure. I just found it interesting, and if you really work on it, like, it's easy to get, not like easy, but like if you work for it, like, you can get the content and understand it, because like, it's your body, it's how your body works, and you're like, oh, like, that makes sense, like, it makes sense eventually. So you just have to work for it. 2 midterms and an exam for that class, and they weren't bad at all for me personally. I studied really hard for all of 3 of them, so I did pretty well because I worked for what I wanted. For my anatomy class, we had a lab for it, and the lab was every other week. The class, like, the lecture itself was twice a week, and it was like an hour and a half, less, more, depending on like what chapter of our textbook we were on. And it was honestly it was manageable for me, definitely. The lab was fun. Sometimes you got to dissect stuff. I did not enjoy the smell, but other than that, it was fine. It was really interesting to like see. I mean, we didn't dissect human parts, but I think it was sheep or cow parts, something like that, I don't know, but it's really cool, definitely, especially once you learn it in the lecture and like you understand like how it works, and then you see all the parts separately and like put it together. You're like, wow. I mean, maybe I'm just nerdy, but I really enjoyed that lab. All my professors from first semester were really good, really understanding of like the transition from high school or like wherever you transition from to like your first year of university, so that was really helpful as well. I'm not sure if every school is like that, hopefully, because that like was a big part of, I think, why I succeeded the way I did. They were really understanding and really helpful to everyone. My next class, it was like an ethics class, kind of along that line, ethics and laws. At my school, they called it professional nursing. I'm pretty sure you take this class throughout all 4 years of the program. So I took it number 1. I'm currently in number 2, my second semester, but I took professional nursing 1. I'm really good with types of classes like that. Like in high school, I honestly excelled in sociology, and I took like anthropology and psychology, like those kind of classes. Social sciences, I excel in those classes, and I'm not even tooting my own horn. I got like upwards of 95s in every single one of those classes I took in high school. And yeah, it was high school, but like still, I understand it really well, and it's logical for me in my brain. I had 1 midterm and then 1 exam, so that was also helpful. It didn't like put too much stress, but I think we had like 2 assignments or something like that, and they were a little challenging to understand, but like once I got it, it was like, okay, like I can do this. It was good. So I did pretty well in that class as well. That class was once again twice a week, so it's manageable for my first semester. A good like transition. I'm gonna give that class, professional nursing, like honestly like a 9 out of 10. I love the professor of that class. She's super sweet, and she always gave us candy, so like I like candy. That was good. We had to take a writing class. It was a writing class specifically for nurses. I hated this class. I did not like it. I hated it. I hated everything. I hate writing essays, I hate grammar, I hate everything to do with the English language like that. I went to this class maybe twice, maybe 3 times. That's being lucky. This class was once a week, but it was 3 hours long, and it was 7 to 10 p.m. on a Monday night. That's all I need to say. Like, for me, it just wasn't gonna happen. So I went to that class maybe twice the first 2 weeks, and then I stopped going. Teachers post most of the stuff online anyway, so it's really easy to catch up. I give that class a 1 out of 10, and that's being generous. It was not my favorite time. Honestly, I can't tell you what I learned. The only thing I think that I retained from that class was prefixes, like medical prefixes and stuff like that, and like medical terminology. That's pretty much all that I think I learned. But like grammar wise and like citation wise, I'm like still so lost on it. Like, don't ask me how to cite anything. I try my best. Like, you catch me like whenever I'm citing stuff or I'm doing an assignment, I have Purdue OWL open 24/7 because I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't like author, like comma, like dash, like bracket, you know. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know why citing has to be that big of a process. I'm like getting stressed thinking about it right now. And the reason why that class for me was also terrible was because it was 7 to 10 on a Monday night p.m. and then I had my like sim lab at 7 a.m. on Tuesdays. So it gave me what, 9 hours between, can I count? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 9 hours between when that class ended and when my next class starts. That's not including like traveling, like asking the professor questions and stuff like that. So I literally am like sleeping and showering and, you know, brushing my teeth and, you know, maybe eating breakfast or dinner, stuff like that. Like, it just, for me personally, just didn't work out. For me, it just wasn't a smart decision for me to attend that class because I definitely would miss my lab in the morning because I like to sleep. And there's like a lot of, like, it's like a whole giant process that you have to go through if you miss a lab, and I just can't do that. Like, you have to like film videos, you have to like go see peer mentors or whatever, and I just would rather go to my class and have to do that whole makeup process. So I didn't go to my writing class a lot, but I still did well, and I did all my assignments. So speaking of my sim lab, that was probably next to anatomy, like my other favorite class. I think that might have been everybody's favorite class because that's the lab that you're like doing your skills, you're learning your skills, you get to practice your skills on sometimes patients, well, like your other classmates, you know what I mean? Like, we never had like real patients, but that was definitely enjoyable. That was the class I think that kept me afloat last semester because I was like, I remember like the whole semester I was like, this is so boring, like I don't want to be a nurse anymore, like this isn't fun, like I don't want to do this. And then that class, every time I go to that class once a week, I'd be like, oh my god, this is so fun, I love doing this. So if it wasn't for that class, I think I might have dropped out. The like skills checkoff tests, like whatever they are, oof, they're stressful, but I liked them. It was good seeing my own progress and seeing like feeling confident performing with skills was definitely like icing on the cake. I can't tell you if this is worse than my writing class or not, but we had to take an intro to microbiology class. This class is also 3-hour long lectures. At first, like for the first half of the semester, we had it in this really small classroom. Like my whole, like everyone in my program in my year couldn't even fit in the classroom. Like people were sitting on the floor and it was really hot. It was like so squished, so it wasn't good. They moved us to a bigger classroom, which definitely helped, and it was like more airflow, but I think that class could have been enjoyable. Parts of it were enjoyable. I loved the professor, again, amazing. 3 hours learning about bacteria and diseases is a lot. It's a lot, especially like when I have never done anything like that before. So it was interesting. Don't get me wrong, it's interesting, but it's a lot to memorize and a lot to learn. Not, I shouldn't say memorize, it's a lot to learn. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I did not. I mean, there's some things that I did retain, I actually did learn, but for those midterms and exams, I memorized. I tried so hard to memorize because there was way too much for me to be like actually learn, especially when we got to like the later units and it was like all these hundreds of different types of bacteria and viruses, and like I was like it got to a point where you had to memorize like what bacteria or like what kinds of, like I don't know, what 5 bacteria cause like this one disease. Like, so like it'd be like what causes pneumonia, and you have to be like Staphylococcus aureus. That's not a bacteria also me. I also don't know how to pronounce anything from that class. So I think Staphylococcus is right, but Arius, I think. So those are my 5 classes for my first semester. I think I had anatomy and professional nursing twice a week, and then I had microbiome and the writing class once a week, but they made it so it was all on the same day, so I basically only had to go to campus Monday and Wednesdays, and it wasn't bad. Like, I was on campus from like 8 to 11 on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then my writing class, like I said, was 7 to 10 on Monday, so I could go home and then come back. And then on Wednesdays my microbiome class was 4 to like 7. You could go home or you could stay on campus. I usually went home because I like to nap. I'm gonna be really honest, I did not go to class that much first semester. I think I still had like that senioritis in me. Like, I did not go to class second semester of my senior year. You did not catch me at school. Especially, I lived really close to my school. I was never at school. I was sleeping at home with my cat. I still did pretty well in my classes on my exams. I definitely could have done better if I went to class, probably. Don't be like me. But also, I did not buy one textbook for my first semester of nursing. I don't remember how many it was that I needed. Definitely at least 1, 2. Okay, for my anatomy, they basically gave us, it was like a program that textbook was on, and they gave it to us. I think you did have to buy the program though. I forget how much it was. I could go look back, but I'm really not gonna do that. Like, I don't have time for that. I had to buy that. It probably was like around $100 somehow. My other textbooks I found online, free PDFs or whatever, because we don't have that to be spending on textbooks. The one textbook they wanted us to buy, they said you use it through like all 4 years. So I was like, okay, but like it's still like $250. Literally like thicker than my face. I promise you, I don't have it because I obviously didn't buy it, so I can't show you how thick it is, but it's so thick, so heavy. I saw it in the bookstore and I was like, they're not, like, even if I did buy it, I'm not walking around campus to class and back with that textbook all day every day. Like, it's gonna give me like chronic back issues. We're not doing that. So I didn't buy any textbook. Found them all online free, except for the ones that I absolutely had to buy, which was that one for anatomy, which was like the whole program, because they put like online tests and other like activities on it, so I had to buy that so I could complete my tests and activities. But yeah, second semester, that's a different story. I had to buy some things. I think for me, I don't buy textbooks, I find them. It's just when they have those classes where you have programs, like there's 3 programs that I had to buy for school so I could do my test and my like assessments and stuff, and they were all upwards of $100, like upwards of 200. So that's another cost they don't tell you about nursing school, but we're not gonna get into that. In terms of like, I remember when I first started school, my whole For You page was all about people who can't make friends in university, and I was like, oh my god, like it cannot be that hard. It's a little hard. Well, I feel like a lot of people in my program are from the same area, so they all know each other, and luckily I came here with a friend, so that was very helpful for my first semester. I think I would have dropped out and went back home if I didn't have at least one friend, because I would have been really lonely. But you make some friends, you meet some friends. I don't know, for me it was just talking to people beside me in class. I went to a week a little bit. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't really make more friends. People were more like dancing and jumping. I'm like, hey, like, what's your name? Like, I don't think people are into that. And I also don't live on campus, so that's also another thing for me. Like, you don't have all those residence activities, but definitely second semester I'm saying we're doing a lot better in the friend department. Tried out for the cheer team, and I made the cheer team. That's probably where I made a lot of friends. Love those girls. Before I started university, I kept asking everyone, I'm like, is it better to pile all my classes onto one day or to spread them out throughout the week? And personally, I think it's better to pile them onto one day, or like as many like as little days as possible. Like for me, I told you I made classes 2 days a week and then 3 days a week every other week when I had my lab, which is only for 2 hours. But anyways, you get out of the house twice, you have to wake up early twice, go grind all day on those 2 days, and then you have the rest of the week off. And I mean off, I mean non-campus. Like you still study and do your work, or Thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up, or don't if you don't like it, but you could like lie and pretend you liked it and give me a thumbs up. Or don't, I don't really care. But that was my review of my first semester. I hope you kind of enjoyed it. I'll see you in my next video. It might be in 4 months, it might be tomorrow. We don't know. We'll see. See if my second semester tries to kill me or not.
I love you!
Got my motif when you walk through the door. Before you came, it was tears.
Ugh.